Hi everyone, it's Jen here from Jen's Arty Inclinations. Forgot where I was from then. I'm actually doing face to camera. I've put on a bit of lippy for you. How's that? I've even put on some earrings for you. Anyhow, I'm here. I'm so excited. I was asked to take part in a collaboration by the beautiful Justine and Mandy over at the Facebook group, Junk Journal Ideas and Inspiration. They're doing this collaboration and it's May You Be Inspired. I'll put up the tag on screen because I'm sure I've got that hashtag wrong. And you'll get to see all the collaborators. Like there's some really big names in here. I don't know how I flicked it in, but anyhow, there's a whole list of collaborators. Mandy and Justine have a playlist. Please go along to their Facebook group. It's a beautiful community. It's all about junk journals. Now, what we're supposed to do is share our journey into junk journaling and share a tip or 2 or 10. For me, I don't know how I got into junk journaling. Really, I think I could easily say I've been in junk journaling long enough to be a lot better than I am, and not long enough that I still have so much to learn. And I love that about junk journaling. I love the way that I've got lots of other creative pursuits and it all comes together in junk journaling. So, you know, watercolors and playing with paper and creating 3D structures and, you know, making little booklets and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I love how you can try out little things and pull them all together. So I think that's wonderful. But I guess and yes, I'm in my car. There's a reason for that. It comes up in my tips. So anyway, we'll keep going. I guess the way that I got into it was I've kind of always had a creative bent. So whether I can do it or not, I've just always enjoyed creating right from when I was a kid. And I've always played with paper. It was always paper and sticky tape when I was little, and macrame with my mum and all those kinds of different pursuits and endeavours. My mum was really creative. She was a wonderful creative artist. We're all inspired by somebody. Okay, we're all inspired by something. As soon as you try it yourself, your own hand is making it. It's actually really, really, really hard to get an exact replica of somebody else's work. And there'll be something that you do different in the process. Embrace that. Let yourself be inspired. If you see somebody do amazing work, sometimes trying to copy them can help you find how your hand will create that. And you'll come up with something completely different, even though you've tried to emulate and replicate. So embrace that. My 2 main tips are create to create and find the spaces. You must create to create. You will never get anywhere if you're not actually making anything. If you're not actually doing it, you'll never get any better. So I will show you my first altered book that I did thing, and I'll show you some of the altered books I've just done recently. And so the difference, like I'm embarrassed by the first ones I did, but when I did them, I had so much fun. Now, part of creating to create is once you create, keep doing it. If you don't like the first one, do another 10. And it's amazing. Not only will you get better because you're practicing, but the other thing is it also helps you kind of find your own style. And by the time you've done the 10th, you might not be going back to the original inspiration or back to the measurements to check or you know, whatever. And you might be starting to be able to do it more organically, and that helps you find your own style and come up with something. And all of a sudden you realize you can do it. So when I was first starting out, the 3 pamphlet stitch, I started out as, you know, a bit of a bookmaker. And I loved the idea that you can make your own books. You know, I used to do them with staples when I was little. So I loved the idea that you could actually sew your own book and all the different creative structures and even the fan folds with the gluing and all of that. So when I was doing that, the 3 pamphlet stitch seemed to be the easiest way. And you'll notice a lot of us use the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I had to look that up probably the first 50 times I did the thing. I just could never remember the process. And once you've got it, it's actually really easy. It's like in the middle, out the top, in the bottom, back in the middle, tie it off. But for some reason, my brain couldn't remember it. So yeah, use your reference for as long as you need to. And eventually you'll just realize that suddenly you're doing it. And then suddenly, because you're doing it yourself, you've slightly changed the style. Quite interesting, that discovery. Finding the spaces is actually what this video is all about. Right now, I'm in my car and my kids are inside the house. So I can see them, I can hear them, Sorry if you can too. But yeah, as a mum, it's actually really hard to find the spaces. So I'm a stay-at-home mum. However, I never have time, you know, and I never had time when I was working either. So finding that time is really hard. Do you know what? If you've got 1 minute to create, do it. Chuck a sketchbook in your bag and create while you're just waiting in line at the doctor's or the supermarket. You know, do a quick sketch or write down an idea or something like that. Use every moment you can. And, you know, my oldest son, he's finishing off school, and my younger son, his disability presentations, they kind of just ended up making school too difficult. So we're having a couple of years off school and he's in high school. But that's great because we're working out what his life looks like, and I love playing with education. But that does mean that it's really hard to find quiet. So that's exactly why I'm in the car. It's amazing. The car is wonderful. This is oftentimes where I do a lot of my voiceovers. I come out to the car. He can go and enjoy his breakfast and I can quickly dash to create. Now, what I've done is I've got my creative space in the middle of the house now, and I use lots and lots of boxes and containers for things that I know that his little sensory mind cannot resist getting in and messing up. But I find that if I put them in a box, especially if I put a little finished symbol on them, that's just something in our house, then I can just put that little tray away and I can bring that tray out. So I can actually easily bring things in and out, but also keep them safe. So a lot of those containers you get from places like Kmart and stuff, they're really handy to just, like a big tray that has a lid, you know, and then you can kind of work within that. And because he's gotten used to me creating in the main space, now I'm finding that I can actually create a lot more in the space. And of course, another way that I find the spaces is to create with him. So this week we made paper beads together, and actually the ones that he rolled, his ones were really cool, probably because he doesn't think the same way that we do. He doesn't have that inner critic that we all do. Now, my other tip as part of that, speaking about the inner critic, try not to think of everything you make as having to be a finished piece. It's actually okay to create just for the sake of creating. I try and approach every single piece I do as something that it's not the finished piece. It's just for the process of creating. It's really hard to do. I need to constantly remind myself, but it's the best way I can get myself out of my own headspace. Nothing's a finished piece. You know, it's okay. It's all just practice. It's all just play. So just create to create. That's the only thing, you know, that you can do, and find the spaces. And speaking of finding the spaces, I often have these little baskets that I pick up cheaply from different places. I like them because they have a handle, and getting quite bad arthritis lately. So, which is another thing. Look after your body. Use the arthritis scissors and use all of that stuff now so that you don't wear yourself out quicker. Anyway, that's another story. And take breaks. Stand up from the desk, walk around, you know, stretch, do all that stuff. But I like this because I can carry it on my arm, and so then you're using a bigger muscle group, so that helps. But also because it has a square base, I can easily pop things in and I can easily pull them out. This is my latest little pencil case. So that's got just all my supplies in it. And I take a water brush, I, you know, have a knife, I've got my little ruler, a little glue, you know, even my little dobber, my bone folder, I've even got a little pair of scissors. But that's quite good because then I can just, you know, spread it out a bit and just sit that wherever I am, and then when I'm finished, I just close it up. I have little folders and boxes of different fussy cuts. This basket I've put together just to make some pockets. So here's just an old cigar box that someone obviously has used for their tax return or something, and then I've got in it little butterflies. So I've got a whole box of different little butterflies, and in there is a whole heap of fussy cut butterflies, and so then I've got a little feature that I can pop on my pockets if I feel like doing that, or I can just do the structure. Just a little watercolour portable set. So that's every colour I could, you know, possibly think of using. And also in my little pot, I've got a couple of stamps, an ink pad, I've got my corner cutter, one of them. I've got a circle punch for my little thumb holes. I've got a little portable water pot just in case I need it. There's even a little sponge in there. So it just means that I can quickly chuck those in there and keep them contained. They can sit in the basket or out of the basket. What else have I got? I've got a plain, this thing, what is it called? Plastic tray, container, just in case I need a separate container. A cutting mat, but I don't use that as much. I mainly use that if I need a flat surface while I'm out and about. But I couldn't find my half one today, so I've got the big one. And then I've also got just a bunch of papers and a few of the stencils that I'm teaching myself to print off on the Brother print and scan, so that I can use them if I need them. And yeah, just some papers, so some jelly prints, book pages of course, and just some plain coffee dyed paper. So that is more than enough for me to make a bunch of stencils. And I can do that in the car. I can take that little basket out into the backyard while the kids are in the pool. And it's all about, as I say, just finding those spaces that you can do it. Enjoy the collab. Down below is a list with the links to everybody. And then there's also, as I said, a playlist. Anyway, I've gone way over time and I've rambled way too much. Go and check it all out. Everything is below. Have a great time, and thank you, all of my fellow collaborators. I am loving hearing your stories. It's so wonderful. Best thing about this community is it is a real community, a beautiful, embracing, sharing community. We'll now go and see if I can make some pockets. Maybe you can join me. Okay, and like that. Yep. We'll go simple pocket. And now all you have to do is, get the right container. I'll just chuck some, do you know what? Already forgot the next step. Where is it? Okay, there. Okay, see how easy this is? So easy. Cut myself a thumb hole. Whoops. Right, that's cut. Inking and my dauber. Inking around. And I did it upside down. I didn't want it that way, but that's okay. We can fix that. All right, now I'm just going to glue the sides. Crafting on the go, that's what we call this. There you go. This is great because you can see my double chin too. Okay, now, voila, there you go. Pocket. Very quickly find a butterfly, a flutterby. Got some glue on the back, and then just go and pop that, there we go, in there. What else can I do on it for you? Right. Just got a little what's-a-doovit. We all need a what's-a-doovit. I'm going to just randomly add something. 3 minutes. See? You can craft anywhere. Find the spaces, create to create. Nothing is a finished piece. Remember, it's all gorgeous practice and play. And if it happens to be a finished piece, then woohoo, bonus. Forgot the watercolour, splashing water all over myself. I may have messed it up, but that's completely fine. That's our little 5-minute pocket. Remember, nothing has to be a finished project. Create to create, find the spaces. I'd love it if you could leave me a comment below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed what you saw today. And of course, please subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you next time. And in the meantime, keep creating. Enjoy.